Hello, everybody. My name is Anthony Gingrossi. I'm the co-founder and owner of Dynamic Colors Inc. Painting and Restoration based in Evanston, Illinois. And I have Julie here with me from JC Licht, and she's going to go ahead and introduce herself.
I'm the lead color consultant for JC Licht. We have an in-home color consultancy service that is hourly, which I come in, we make a paint schedule, we look at large color sheets, we create flow throughout the house. As you know, it's important to have all rooms connect, and I provide interior and exterior service.
Yep. So I asked Julie to come here and chat with us today regarding what is happening from the color trend market in 2018 and what she's going to see in 2019. So as a painting contractor out in the field from the exterior side of the house, I see a lot of homeowners kind of going with more earthy, neutral tones. This is where Julie would jump in and try to help me with. They're kind of keeping a lighter tone for the siding of the house and picking one color for the trim of the house, and then where they put that punch of colors in the front door. Something bright, vibrant with a higher sheen to make that stand out. So now I will ask Julie, what are you seeing out there when you've been working with homeowners of what they've been wanting to do with the exterior of their homes?
So I definitely see people who, when they're painting, of course, they want to change. So nobody wants to stick with the same old that they've had previous. To your point, right? So you are picking colors that work harmoniously with already on the house, right? So if you have a brick, you're working with that brick and not against it. And that is lighter. And then there's the shutters, which I always say are the eyelashes on the house.
Right.
So the shutters in the front door are becoming a little bit more prominent. And I think people are willing to take more risks.
Okay.
You know, I always choose that color, that pop of color. I want it to be complementary to the other pieces of the home.
So how often do you see homeowners, or are you recommending homeowners to pick up colors within their landscaping? Do they do that? You know, the inside of a house, someone will pick up bedding, they'll pick up accents, they'll pick up rugs. Are they doing that with landscaping, or is it more based on just personal preference of what they want? Like, where are they getting their color inspiration from?
So those pops of colors, landscaping is a part of it, but in the Midwest, the landscaping only counts for 4 months.
Right.
Maybe.
You're lucky.
So I use natural light to make those choices, right? Western exposure is warmer, Eastern exposure is cooler. So if you get that right undertone and it hits that color, it will be the best color on your house.
Right.
So it has to work either in conjunction, complementary, or I work with the light. And so if somebody wants a blue door and they sit in Eastern exposure, it's another layer of blue on top of blue.
Okay.
So that makes a difference.
So can you give an example of maybe a color? Like, let's say you go through a house and someone's going to pick a trim color, a siding color, a shutter color, and a door color.
Yeah.
Can you give an example of those 4 colors, of what you've seen that's out there that's complementary, that work together on a home?
Sure. So the trim color is heavily based on things that are not changing. Again, if there are white windows, I usually like to make sure that there's harmony between those whites. So I've seen a lot of white doves, simply white, and Benjamin Moore's white trim, obviously, I think works really well with those manufactured windows. And then exterior in terms of siding, I've seen, for example, like Ashley Gray or Fairview Taupe, some of those more taupier red-based grays.
Right. They
They work really well with a lot of those bricks, particularly that were up in the 90s or the 80s. I think they're updating those because they've got that drop of gray in them. And then in terms of shutters and doors, typically people will match them. So you don't have, my sensibility is I don't like to see more than 3 to 4 colors on a house unless I'm a painted lady.
Correct. Yep.
It becomes too much and it confuses the eye. Again, you want to look at it as one big piece. In terms of the front doors, I've been across the board, right? So I've seen the blacks, but colors like soot and raccoon fur, if you add a little bit of blue to them, they become almost like a navy in the right light. And then in the evenings, they turn black.
Okay. Yep.
So, and then you obviously can go for those bolder colors.
So my getting from what you're saying is that the shutter and door color will be deeper than the house color the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the switch? Do you see the deep house color with the lighter shutters and maybe a lighter front door? Or
I do. I often feel like it's a little disconnected.
Right.
Sometimes it feels like the windows are bleeding into the shutters and then they become one big piece. So I generally like, you don't have to have such huge contrast.
Right.
But I generally keep the shutter at least darker than the siding.
And that's typically what I see in the industry too, is that you always go the shutter is kind of your accent of your trim color that's a little bit deeper than what the house is.
Exactly.
So to wrap up the exterior talk on this, what is one tip that or maybe 2 tips you would give a homeowner when they're thinking about repainting their house? Because a lot of the homeowners that I work with, I always try to talk them out of repainting the same color. If you're going to paint your house, you might as well change the color, but that's a really big step for people to change the entire exterior of their house. Is there anything that you can give or anything you work with somebody to say, here, this is why you should go from the current color you have to a new color to change the complete look of your house? Because it does. I mean, it will look like a brand new house, a completely different house if you change the color. But there are a lot of people that have a really difficult time taking that step to actually do that.
It's tough.
Yes,
it's a big decision. A lot of the reasons to change is one, sometimes houses are nestled in between two houses. They look exactly alike.
Right.
And that has a lot to do with the builder, the architect who built the homes. So they kept everything very similar. Yeah. And in a market where you might sell your house in 5 years, it makes a lot of sense to change and make yourself stand out.
Okay.
More to the reasoning of making sure that that color that you choose works with the other pieces of the other architecture of the house. So you can go a little deeper, take that risk. As long as you are staying within the confines of what your house and your light allow, you're not going to make a mistake.